Welcome everyone. This is Bbeltdan and we are building the Enterprise J in Blender. This is just going to be just a real quick update. Given what time you or what day you're watching this, I just want to go ahead and say Happy New Year. It's either pretty close to 2016 or we are on 2016, but either way, it's Happy New Year. Because of all the holidays and festivities and everything that's going on, um, I've been able to do quite a bit of well, not quite a bit, but some work on the Enterprise J, on the old J here, but not a whole lot. And this episode is going to really be more of a kind of an update to show you some of the stuff that what I've done since the last episode, and also show you a couple little things that I'm looking at that I need to work on, and what I'm thinking about doing about tackling some of the areas, what I'm what my future plans are for this ship and all that kind of stuff. But before we get started, I know some of y'all are actually watching this series as kind of a tutorial almost to the front, or to the most part. So I know in the past I talked about edge loops, and we're going to work a little bit on that today. Um, One of the areas that I'm going to kind of slowly start trying to flesh out is the deflector dish area. And so I've been working on this area here. Now this right here is going to be where um, now there's these lights here, but I see them here. I don't see them there, so I don't know what to really make out for them. I'm kind of halfway in between deciding either that's going to actually be windows or it's going to be kind of a sensor strip. Kind of like if you see on the Enterprise D all along the saucer section is just a series, of sensor strips, different types of sensors and everything. And I'm kind of thinking that that's what that could also be as well, but I also might be toying with the idea of those being, um, well, actually kind of more like a hybrid, once again, like the Enterprise D, their Windows sensor strips. I don't know. I'm going to be thinking about that, but I want to start working on the details of the deflector dish. And when I was looking at this, I was noticing that I didn't quite have my edge loops set right. So I was going to kind of show y'all how I got that started. I started working on it. Um, this right here just went straight into this. These edge loops weren't here. There was a triangle that went right here, a little triangle, but this wasn't here. So I kind of added these in. This right here was added in just for the sake of this tutorial, just to show you the difference. I'm going to add that back in. So if we look at it here, the mesh doesn't really look too beautiful. So I mean, if I render that area, yeah, you can see how that's kind of looking. I know I got a lot of anomalies there, and I know I need to start working on that, but we're just focusing on this area here. So what I'm going to go ahead and do, let me take this off of rendered, go back to solid, is go into edit mode. Now, if I was to try to add a new edge loop along the entire perimeter of the ship, you can kind of see what it's wanting to do with the way these edge loops are set. It looks like it's doing something weird. It goes all the way to the back and then comes back up to the front, so on and so forth. And if I also need to add in extra details here, which I'm going to have to flatten this out, if I try to add in an extra edge loop in here, I can either get an edge loop along there or I can get edge loop along there, but that's not ideal. I want, a whole new edge loop to go around here and here all at the same time. So that's the importance of edge loop. So once again, just kind of look how that's drawn out. It's not even connected there. And how that's drawn out, that's improper edge loop. So what I'm going to go ahead and do now is I am going to take this edge here. Let me go ahead and go into vertices, and I am going to control E, and I'm going to subdivide it. Now that gives me a brand new vertice. I'm going to need more than that. I'm going to do then a shift V, and I'm going to drag this vertice right over there. There we go. Now I'm going to do that again. I'm going to select that edge there, go back to here so I can see it. I'm going to do Control E, subdivide. Make sure that I'm selecting just that. Shift V and move that vertice up along there. Now I'm going to have to mess with this just a little bit. Now I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this face. Go back into vertices and select those faces. Create new faces. Let me go ahead and select these two edges. F to face. And we're almost there. Actually, this edge loop here, not quite there yet. Let me see. But then here, all I should have to do is delete that face. Oh, no, I got to do... Wait, hold up. Give me 1 second here. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. Yeah, well, I got it worked out to a certain degree. Let's take a look at it. If we do a Control R, as you can see now, that edge loop, it's still coming back around towards the bottom left-hand corner of the screen, but it's actually that edge loop that we're adding in is actually connecting there. And if I go here, you can see it adds an entire new edge loop ring to subdivide right along there. Here I'm having a little bit of an issue. So if I can do that, I can do that, or I can do that. So it seems like that there's 3 different intersections that we have on this. I mean, another way that you can look at it, if we go into face mode and we hold down the Alt button, if I click on and do a right click, I click on that, it shows that that's the edge loop. If I click up here, over here, it shows that's the edge loop. But if I click here, it shows that that's the edge loop. Now, why does that not have... Oh, okay, it's there. It's just very... let me do a Control N. No. But yeah, there's that edge loop that's selected. But yeah, all of that, I gotta try working on that. Doesn't seem like that's wanting to... But yeah, I'll work on that, but at least I got this edge loop. But either ways, if we go into object mode, it edits a little bit better. What I need to do though is I can see, it's difficult to see here, but if I go back in edit mode and I toggle this on, you could see where this mesh, yeah, that subdivision modifier is bringing it out, and I don't want that. So what I'm going to need to do is select all of these edges here. This is another reason about why it would have been a lot easier if I get those edge loops, and I'll work on it. And if I figure it out, I had it done properly earlier, but I just went ahead and undid it all so I could show y'all. And to be honest, I forgot completely how I did it. So, but I'll figure it out and I'll show y'all in the next episode. But let me take care of this real quick. So I'm just going to select all these, and once again, if I had that edge loop or the edge loops written right, I just do an Alt right click and it would have selected the entire edge loop. Now let me see. Yeah, if I do that. Okay. Oh, excuse me. Sorry, I had muted real quick. I had a cough. Let's just toy around with this. You know what? I'm just going to go ahead and leave that be for right now because I got other plans. Because what I'm going to do is, to get a little more details, I'm going to take this blue portion here and I'm going to extrude it to kind of give it a little bit of a lip, a little bit of an edge between this gray portion and the blue portion. And then I start modeling in the details for the deflector dish. But yeah, anyways, let's enough with that. Just wanted to kind of show you all that about how I doing the edge loops or trying to repair the edge loops, and I got a lot of edge loops that I got to fix. Um, some of them are going pretty predictable. Some of them are going, you know, every which way. So I got to start working on some of that to try to improve that as much as possible. But yeah, I'm going through working on those edge loops, and just want to also kind of show you the importance, because said if I wanted to take that entire edge loop and make it sharp, I should be able to just do an alt and see it selects that entire edge loop like that. That's what I want. I don't want that, so I got to work on that a little bit. See, that works, but that doesn't. So yeah, so not a little bit of work, but we'll get it. Don't worry about that. All right, but let me go ahead and give you all, like I said, real quick tour, a little bit of an update of what I've been doing. I went ahead first. Last episode we were talking about these little details here. We'll come back to those in a minute because there's a problem, but I've gotten those all squared away. Well, for the most part. I mean, needs a lot of cleaning up, a little bit more of the rounded edges, but it's a start, as you could probably see. Mouse, I think, is about ready to run out of battery. Now, this back portion I've done quite a bit of work on. As you can see, like I said, I was going to remove that little hangar bay area, and we're going to be moving it down below. So what I've been doing is I've been flattening this out just a little bit right here. We'll go into, if I go into edit mode, you can see how it's working out. I got to remove that. We don't need that anymore. But anyways, yeah, so I've been smoothing that out, flattening that out. I've been working on these little back, little fin areas, kind of a throwback to those, early 50s, 60 cars with the little fins and stuff on it. So I've been working on those, blending this all in back into that. That's coming out pretty nicely. I've been doing a little bit of work on this. We'll come back to that in a minute. And yeah, I've also worked on this portion here. This is one of those little areas that you don't hardly ever really see, but I've been fleshing that details out. And what's going to be under here, I think I mentioned it in an earlier episode, I was going to kind of model like this would be like a viewport, a little viewing area, complete with, benches and parks and big old windows that they can all kind of, the community can gather and they can view outwards, in the back. Kind of like I see it like a send off, as if they're leaving a planet, they can all gather in that area and they can see the planet as it starts to fly off, or if shuttles are launching, they could see shuttles launch. There's like the 10 forward lounge and the Enterprise D. This would be like the 10 back lounge, so to say, little lounge area that people can see what's behind them, and then they could see what's ahead as well. So that's going to be I kind of working on. Let me go ahead and go into shade rendered mode here. It's not quite finished yet, but just kind of imagine, as you will, that underneath this little lip here is going to be kind of like a spherical or semi-sphere little area with a whole bunch of windows in it. Some sensors, maybe some hull details, but a lot of windows inside it. And this is going to be one of those deals I'm going to model in heavily. I'm not going to texture. I'm going to have it to where you can actually view into the windows and see the little promenade area. Yeah, there. I was thinking like kind of like a little promenade area. I mean, if this is the type of ship that Drexler, sees it as, and it's a multi-generational type vessel, they might have some shop areas or recreational areas. I mean, well, there's a lot of recreational areas, but this will just be another one. But its primary purpose is for meetings or send-offs or last goodbyes or what have you as they're leaving. destinations or planets or other ships and stuff are pulling out. They can all view from there. Once again, like the 10 forward lounge, but more of the 10 rear lounge or 10 back lounge. Haven't done any work down below except for the windows. Let's go take a look at those. I've been working on those, and as you may or may not be able to see, maybe if I go into edit mode, oops, let me help if I selected the right object. So I've made the windows a little bit longer. I'm going 2 wide. I may end up doing 3 wide as well, just to see how I like those. But I've also kind of, instead of making them look flat, I kind of brought them up just a little bit. I don't know if you could probably see that. Whoops, see that angle there. Let's go into shaded mode or rendered mode. Yeah, I really can't quite see it there, but I'm giving those windows a little bit more detail, and these are nothing more than just viewport windows. I think I mentioned in an episode, think of like a skyscraper, how you could just, you know, well, not a skyscraper, that's a terrible analogy. But, they're not like the windows that you see in most starships where they're either going to be, a part of somebody's rooms. These are windows, for big hallways, and as you go through the hallway, you could see out through those windows. I don't know, maybe some of them might become like, lounges or, you know, it's just, with given a ship this size and the windows being that big, to me it just seems like that would be just a bit, those windows would be too big, scaled up too big to be used for living quarter windows. Living quarter windows would be much, much smaller. I could see how we could probably put a lot of them up here, but I'm not going to model every single one of those in. That would just be almost completely mental to try to do that. But that's what I've been working on. What I'm going to be working on, I said I was going to try working on that front deflector dish area. I'm going to be working on this part right back here. But let's take a look at that part, at this back portion, because here's some details that I'm noticing. First off, these little fins that I was mentioning earlier, they're close. They're getting closer, but they're not quite exact. I got to kind of mold those, but pay attention also to this little area back here. Like me, I still can't remember what it's called. But it's a part of the engineering section. That's not quite adding up. It looks like right here there might be a couple little windows. This right here is kind of an exterior wall to whatever this is shielding. I don't quite have that in my model. It's just, I'm going to have to take this entire section here and move it down a little bit. It might be just up a bit too much in that backside section because I already have it. I mean, it's already starting to go through the hull. Even if I remove this, whoops. I mean, it's already starting to, whoops, wrong one. It's already starting to go through that hull. So I had to move, as you will, the entire, not the entire hull, but just this entire back portion here down just a little bit, just to get that to all line up. And then once I do that, then I can add in all these little details. It's just when going by with something like this, you got to be very careful, because if you start moving one thing to try to make everything add up on one side, everything on the other side starts to really kind of mess up. And so it's a long drawn out process. If you remember with me trying to get all these nacelles to line up, and I still don't have them 100%. And I'm going to just consider that, a part in the side of, error that can't be helped. It just takes a while. The other thing that I'm going to need to work on is, you could probably see these little details here. They're not quite adding up at all. I mean, on this side, yeah, I need to bring it down just a little bit, so I'm going to be having to work on that. Another thing that I've noticed, and this is definitely going to change the details of the ship, is once again, look at these little details here. Look how they are in the picture. Oh wait, no, never mind. Never mind. I thought they were way off. Oh, disregard. They are right where they need to be. I'm sorry. I was looking at earlier the lights. Oop, my bad. But yeah, I still got a little bit of the details to work on. I mean, they're pretty close, as you can see. Yeah. Need to add in these little areas there. But this front portion definitely needs a little bit of work. There's another little detail that you can see. Actually, maybe those are windows. I need to make this front portion just a little bit more rounded. Right now, I think I have it almost flat there. Yeah, it's almost flat, so I'm gonna need to round off all those edges because that looks like it might be a little bit more rounded. So yeah, that's flat, so I need to round that. I need to fix this edge right here. That edge doesn't look too good. Yeah, taking a close look at this little detail. Yeah, right here would be definitely a series of sensor strips. But yeah, those windows, those are just way too big to be, um, to be individual windows for living quarters. But for skylights, that's a possibility. Of course, so it looks more like though you're getting more sunlight or light going out than you probably would have light going in, unless they're near a star or a sun or what have you. But not all of these are windows. I mean, that right there doesn't look like it's a window unless those are like those windows, but for some reason that entire section is out. Same thing with those. But yeah, we'll tackle that a little bit later. Yeah, another thing, same thing right there. This right here is starting to get close. I just got to move that down a little bit, and then the cells aren't too far off. And they still got a little bit of work, but once again, I think I mentioned I'm going to consider that there's going to be some margin of error that should be allowed to be able to do, because I don't, we don't know exactly the exact dimensions of the ship, proportions, and everything. I mean, this isn't the best image to go off of. I mean, if there was an overhead image, it would be a lot better, but we don't have that. Um, but yeah, I'm kind of happy with the way it's going right now. But that's what I'm looking at. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna. Oh, sorry, I'm going a little bit brain dead right about now. I think my mind's already ahead of 2016. I'm still in 2015. Oh, you know what I'm saying. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead. But yeah, this is just a quick little update, so I'm going to go ahead and just stop it right there. Just wanted to come in, just show you some of the stuff that I worked on, show you, show you some of the things that I'm going to be doing, that I'm going to try to start working on here soon. And a couple little problem details that I'm trying to iron out. The edge loop, issue. That's something I think I'm always going to be battling with for quite some time. I wasn't thinking ahead when I was modeling all this in a hurry about getting those edge loops in right. So now I'm going back and I'm fixing those. And as you can see, if we go back to looking at the front of the vessel, if you remember the way it looked at the beginning and the way it renders now, it's looking a little bit better, not by much, and it will get better once I start putting more details in there. But it's rendering a lot smoother now, and that's what you want. So, but yeah, that's pretty much about it. I might as well go ahead and just stop right now, or I'm just going to continue talking. So just a real quick update. Once again, if y'all have any kind of comments or suggestions or critiques or anything, feel free to leave those in the comments below. I do read those comments, whenever I get a chance. So, not a whole lot of y'all are commenting on, but I also post these in forums, and expect to hopefully get some comments and some suggestions and critiques on those as well. So once again, thank you. This is Bbeltdan, and I just want to tell y'all Happy New Year, and let's look forward to 2016.